I have been following you from a distance. So once I received your invitation, I was so excited to join you. And I'm joining from the United States, where it is 3:57
Wow.
Eastern time. Yeah, because I have a trip in the United States, but I live in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, where I'm trying to launch a movement. I will call that a reform on the mediation because of all the conflicts that we have in that country,
Yep.
and also because I feel like this is what we need to help people, because the justice is not really doing the job the same way as the mediation. That's number one. And number two, because the justice is not everywhere. So in the rural area, you don't find judges. They always live in cities. So here is, for me, an opportunity to join a group where I will learn a lot of things about what I'm doing in Congo. Thank you very much.
No, thank you for joining us. And definitely, justice is being denied. That's what's happening
Exactly.
around the world, and that's a big issue. But we'll
Exactly.
also say hi to Shevang and Mandy. Mandy, of course, has been in a lot of my events. So, yes, you'll introduce yourself, Mandy, to everyone. But Shevang, he's going to tell us about himself also. Shevang, you want to just do a little quick introduction? Yeah.
Sure, sir. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Chawang Penjo. So at the moment, I'm working with the Competition and Consumer Affairs Authority, primarily protecting the consumers from the unfair trade practices. So frankly speaking, I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a background in law. I am an economist. I am a public administrator. So, but the very job that I am undertaking at the moment is a demanding job there, where the laws should be implemented and implemented and to interpret. So it's a very important job that requires the legal support. So at the moment, it is my fifth year with the Competition and Consumer Affairs Authority in Bhutan. So although I am 18 years running in a job, working with the Royal Government of Bhutan. So that's it at the
That's
moment.
really nice. And of course, Bhutan is a beautiful place. That's what we
Uh,
all know. Haven't been there, but we keep hearing about it. That it's a nice, it's like a community. That's the way I look at it. It's like a community, and it's quite close knit, is what I understand. So that's really nice.
we will look forward, sir.
Yeah,
If
we
you can
must
visit Bhutan, I think you will not regret.
definitely has to be done. Has to be done.
Okay, okay.
And Mandy, of course, Mandy, please tell yourself about Romain and to Shivang and Romain, please. Yes, Mandy.
I'm happy we have this meeting because we feel part of this beautiful community, but to keep in touch and uh, share our hopes and our love for peace and mediation is so encouraging and beautiful. And these days I realize, because I have a personal experience, and I was thinking about what way I feel about the circle, and I was thinking that when something is in our mind and in our soul, it exists. So peace exists because we share this love for peace. Peace exists in us, and it is a reality. And I feel it's much more encouraging to believe that it exists, even if it has enemies and difficulties, and not that we have to create peace. It exists. It exists in some relationships, in some places, in some many hearts, and it is a very strong feeling, and it is a beautiful thing. So what we lately talk about very much with our dearest Vikram is, I believe, is the best to share the experience and to give the chance to experience peace and mediation. And I believe this is the strongest thing we can do and the most beautiful and powerful, because if somebody has this experience, it is necessary for everybody to have to have this experience after again and again. It is a must, it is a need, it is a beautiful thing. So I believe that our meetings is very, very important to have this experience, talking about experiences, sharing experiences, bringing people who have experience, not only to talk about mediation as a theory. I believe that's the most powerful and beautiful thing. And this is what I feel when I am participating in these beautiful meetings and gatherings. I experience what is this. I experience what is all this community, these feelings, this trust. And this is the encouraging and the powerful and beautiful thing. So so happy. We have so often these beautiful chances through all these gatherings and meetings and circles and issues and all these beautiful people around the world. It is very, very beautiful thing what you're doing, dear Vikram.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you. But now what we have to understand is whether Romain and Shevang know about the World Mediation Circle and what all has been happening. Shevang, have you got an idea about what's been happening in relation to the World Mediation Circle? Shevang, anything? Yep. I think his signal is got. Romain, what about you? Have you seen what is happening and what is the idea behind the circle?
No, this is the first time I'm joining. I didn't have chance to go to the website and search about the activities of the circle, but I'm pretty sure that you reference it to videos and an activity that exists. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I go there, but I have been following you in link with 10 o'clock all the time that you have been together and conducting mediation conferences. Yes, that's what I know.
I'll take you through that. Yeah, I'll take you through the concept of the World Mediation Circle. But first, we have to say hi to Felicity. Hi, Felicity. And Felicity normally likes to keep herself muted because she likes us to learn the lip reading language.
Hello. Hello. How are we all this evening?
I know you haven't met everyone else, so
No.
of course, what I've done is I've put the countries in front of them so that it becomes a little, I mean, in a way, in terms of location, you'll get to know. So Shevang is in Bhutan and Romain is right now in the US, but he's from Congo. And Mandy is in Greece and Felicity is, of course, in Australia.
Is Felicity the felicita? We say the happiness. Your name is the happiness.
Yes. And you'll find in some literature, they'll say felicitations to you, which is happiness to you.
Very beautiful name.
But what was really happening, Felicity, is that Romain hasn't really read about the World Mediation Circle, so we have to tell him about that. Shevang, I don't know. I was just asking him. Shevang, have you read about the World Mediation Circle? Have you got a little bit of an idea?
Actually, I went and opened your website and have gone through few videos that you have uploaded, but I could not go into detail. So I thought that today is the best place that Vikram sir will be presenting what is a mediation circle.
Yeah, because what I'll do is I'll give a little brief, but Mandy and Facility are the ones who will tell you more about it, because their words are sometimes better than my words. So they
Okay,
will tell
sir.
you. But I'll open the website. I'll take you a little brief as to where the information is. But the whole idea is that the concept of the way I want to develop mediation, because I mean, I'll put it up here. There's a little brief I've written out here, but that's just a brief. It's more about doing things rather than the theory part of it. So the idea being that there is a humanistic approach to dispute resolution, where moral values, principles, they play a role, heart, soul, spirituality plays a role. That's the kind of approach to dispute resolution that I'm looking at. And mediation for me is a space where all these things should come out. And this should be the reason for people to even resolve things. That should be an important part of it, which of course maybe has gone missing for a lot of reasons, but we won't get into whatever reasons are, because there'll be a huge number of reasons. There's be history and everything in places. So might as well start from now. How can we develop it in a way that all these aspects do come out? That's one part. And then as we go along, once we've created a community, for me it's a community of people who believe that conflicts, disputes, fights, disagreements, misunderstandings, they should be resolved amicably. And they are looking at healing and strengthening relationships. They are looking at, like I said, of the humanistic approach and all. So we're developing that community. We're bringing those people in, because to say that we'll change the world and everyone in the world will start thinking like that, I think it's not going to happen, at least not very soon. So might as well bring people together who have that mindset first. All those people with those good thoughts, those good values and everything, let's do that. And once we've created this space where people have these conversations, dialogue, then looking at collaboration and consensus building, and moving away from debates, activism and advocacy, because those are areas lots of activity happens there, and they're vested interest to develop those. But what about safe spaces for just a good conversation? Who creates those spaces? It doesn't really serve anyone's purpose. And on the long-term basis, we're looking at redefining politics with, looking at the local, national, global level, where you move away from the colonial legacy of divide and rule with mediators as leaders. So you're developing that whole consensus building atmosphere. And beyond that is about schools, colleges, everywhere. And who are we bringing in? One, we're bringing in people who have the mediator mindset. So qualifications, certifications and all, nothing required. It's the mindset that we need, those people. And they all exist. They're all out there. This is no rocket science. Mediation is not some technical thing. It's a human interaction. And for some people, there's a skill there that they have. And then they have the peacemakers who bring people together. And then we have those people who have the mindset, like I told you, who want to resolve things amicably. So that's the community we are developing. And we do that at the smallest level, as a school, a college, an organization, community. Then we're doing it at the global level of all of us coming together. And there are lots of circles have been already created. So all that list is in this section. What happens on a daily basis or in a month or in a year comes here. But this is a brief I'm going to give you, because when Felicity will tell us, it'll sound even better. Felicity, what is the World Mediation Circle all about?
I knew you were going to do that to me, Vikram. The World Mediation Circle, from my perspective, is a collaboration. It's a group of people who, with a like-minded approach, come together in a safe space to have dialogue together and share a common goal. Is that?
Yeah, you're being brief because you been put on the spot. So yes, I do understand. But that's what I like to do, put people on the spot. But from what I said, okay, Mandy is there. Mandy is also going to have something interesting to say about the World Mediation Circle. Mandy, what is the World Mediation Circle?
It's poetry. It's poetry in experience. I mean, it's a community, a family to me. It's a family which brings us to the feeling that we are all brothers and sisters with ourselves also friends, and it's a place that we can contact and connect to our best self, which we all carry, and the best self of others brings up and grows up the beautiful feelings we all carry and want to express and experience. And I believe this is, I like to say that it is a huge ocean. To me, this community is a huge ocean, and we all, as pieces of lands, countries, islands, every person is feeling that there is a common space that connects everybody, and it is a peaceful and safe and beautiful place that exists. And I believe that it is a world a world that is the place we want to live and be what we really are, without the fear and the ego. That's what it is to me. It is a real place, the circle.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. That's what I'm saying. When Mandy talks about it, it's, I don't know, sometimes these nice things come out. It's always nice. And every time she say it, there'll be something.
But yes, I realize that every time I feel, I don't know what to say. Is it the sun that brings the light and the warmth? Is it the ocean that has that beautiful colors and connects us? Is it the tree? The place that we like to be together under the tree, Vikram's place, the tree? Is it the sky? It is everything that connects us and is in the middle between us, but not to separate us. It is the common space that connects us. And that's what is beautiful to realize. And through this beautiful connection, it is easy to realize that we have things between us, but not to separate us. These spaces between people is the space that connects us. So even a conflict, if we work on it with a peaceful and positive way, it is not a conflict to separate us. It is a conflict to bring us closer and to make it a common space to realize things and to connect.
Yeah. So what's really happening, Shivang and Romain, is that we're creating these circles within schools, colleges, organizations, communities. And what are we really doing? We are just going there and asking them to tell us about those people who help other people resolve their conflicts or fights or disagreements, whatever word. So once we get those people identified by people themselves, let's bring them into the circle, because these are the real people who are practicing mediation, but they don't get valued. They're doing this in closed spaces. They're doing it with some friends. They're doing it with family, maybe in community also, but they just lost that because no one highlights them. It doesn't serve anyone's purpose to highlight them. So what we're doing is bringing these people out. Then within those spaces that they are, be it in a school or a college or a community or a family also, or an organization, to be able to create what I call a circle around them, that, okay, we have these people within your space. It's not that we are bringing someone or we have some technical thing that we are bringing to you, mediation, some rocket science. No, it's all happening. It's happening right there. These people are there, so you can connect with them and right there. So it's, you feel part of it. You trust the person because you know the person in that atmosphere. So what we're doing is, first, let's start creating these circles right at the grassroots level. From there, of course, we have the national circles. So all these people are part of that also. So at least nationally also, they should be recognized. Same thing globally. Everyone's part of the large world mediation circle. So we're bringing them out globally also. They should be recognized because they should be valued. It's a very special skill. It's a special person. but no one really talks about them. So, right, if you are creating a circle in a school, let that in that school information be spread that, okay, this person has helped so and so to resolve something. That little story should go out. Okay, this person has done this. These are the good things that people are doing which never get even recognized. So that word spreads. It talks about what was the issue. They talk about that. So people connect to it. Okay, I also have such an issue, but I don't know someone, but now I know someone. I can go to this person and we can go to this person to help us. So that's how the culture of mediation develops from the grassroots level. And once that culture develops, those communities develop of people who are like-minded people, I feel good things will happen. I mean, that's my hope. But at least even creating them, I feel good about it. So I just when you hear a little child in a school telling you about how the person helped another friend of theirs to or their friends to resolve something, you feel so good that it's such a pure thing which is out there, should be brought out. And at least for some people who in some way get negative about what's happening in the world, that little hope that yes, these people are there and we should in some way bring them together. But the challenges are on the other side, there are too many vested interests to create divisions between people. Too many vested interests on the other side for whatever reason there are. So now who's going to let you create these nice spaces for people to come together? So that you have to be able to face those challenges about people maybe wanting to disrupt these spaces. Why should people sit together and have good conversations? Why should there be dialogue? Why should there be consensus building? How does it serve our purpose then? So that division, that's been happening over years. So important thing is to we have to keep doing our work, getting good people together, and hopefully some good, like I say, I planting these seeds. These seeds will grow as we go along. So now Shivang will give his thoughts based on this is a broad idea. Shivang, what are your thoughts based on this, and how are we going to take it forward in Bhutan?
Uh, this is the very first time that I'm hearing about the mediation circle. But having said this, as Vikram mentioned, that now I should have a clear road path to create these circles, say starting from the kindergarten school, in the institutions, and in the office where I work. But I would like to give a brief background about myself. Firstly, I have never attended such kind of training, meetings, workshops regarding the mediation. So, within the span of 5 years in this organization, so I developed doing the mediation between the consumers and business entities. So it is a very, I think, beautiful place where we bring both the parties for the dialogue, resolution, and everything. But however, I just feel that as of now, I'm not that comfortable creating a mediation circle. As in when we go into deeper, and we understand everything, then I'm planning to even apprise to my management regarding these ideas, so we can further enhance the circles like earlier I said, like schools, kindergarten, then the early care. Then if possible we can also do within the colleges and universities. So at the moment I feel that this is the only thing that I can do, Vikram. Okay, thanks.
Perfect. And the good part is, like you said, that you haven't attended any training programs and all. That's very good because there's a natural skill that you have. That should not, I mean, be limited because there is a certain box that is given to you that this is how you have to do things. It's because it's human interaction. Everyone is unique. You're interacting with unique people, so there should be no limits to the way you be yourself. So main thing is you have the mindset, you are being yourself, and you are coming with good intentions. You want to assist people in resolving something, and that's all that's required. Good things will happen that way. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Vikram.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's
remain,
true because
yeah,
it's like a flame. When there is dark and there is a flame, it's very, everything becomes, I mean, if you go to a dark room and you turn on a flame, it becomes light. So it is very easy to be recognized, and everybody goes toward the light.
Yeah, but our flame from South Africa hasn't put on her video.
Flames,
Lisa, are you planning to
yes.
put on your video? Are you going to are we going to see you, or are we just going to hear you?
I'm coming.
Okay, she's coming. She's coming. So, Romain, up till then, your thoughts on whatever I discussed.
Oh, thank you very much. This is a great opportunity. As you're talking, I'm already learning because, like you said, while we are believing in peace, beside there are so many people creating division, trying to bring more problems, and then that's something that I just learned here. And also, you say that there are a lot of people who have been working hard, bringing others together, solving problems, but those people are not being valued, recognized. That's true. I was telling a friend of mine who told me that he doesn't believe in conflict resolution. He doesn't believe in open dialogue. I just asked him if he is married. He said, "Yes, I have a wife." I say, "Don't you believe that you did have some problems during your life? How many years have you been married?" Then he say, 15 years. Oh, okay. Then I just say, I do not know what you have, but I can tell that sometimes you did go through some hard time, but if you resolve it by yourself, facing your wife, that was just a peaceful resolution. So you can believe on that too. So I really believe that the circle is very important. And then thank you for creating this space, because we will learn more about this. And thank you very much. And in Congo, I just started a campaign through all the universities and colleges, where I'm just reminding people that we do have this power. So let's use it.
Yep. And I'm telling you that when you bring these people out and they're valued and you create spaces around that, you will see. Look, I'm not saying that you can change the world. You can't change the entire world in one go. But just that little space when those good conversations, that dialogue happens. I mean, we are here today. We are having this dialogue. Just the fact that good people come together, that positive energy definitely in some way spreads. And it will, but it's the starting point. How do you bring these people out? So just going out and asking that question, and I can tell people, send that question through WhatsApp, or you have WhatsApp groups are used for so many things. Why can't they use for some good things like this, where you're sending out a message to identify these people, and the messages can be forwarded, and you'll suddenly find out, maybe you'll get so many names to you for you. We'll bring them together. Of course, for me it'll be in the Zoom sessions, but you can always have physical sessions, you can meet them. But let's get them out, get them into our space, and tell them, look, first of all, what you're doing is really important. It's not, and this is a way of life for you, but actually you're going to be able to help so many people resolve their disputes on a long term, I mean, on a much larger basis, and give them a path that, look, this can actually be a path for your occupation also. So it's not just a way of life. That's what I'm trying to create, that they should be able to earn money out of it. That's when they're going to be there on a full-time basis, because these are the people we need doing this on a full-time basis. It should not be one-off. Okay, help this friend, I help this family member, or no, this is something that the world needs. And they don't have that many people. It's not that everyone is that you have so many of these people. So few people, but they can actually make an impact. So that's how I'm looking at it developing. It'll start small. We'll start when you get those names. We'll start maybe in one school, one college, but from one, it can those people will then make it grow. So it's a multiplier effect by people themselves. It's a people's movement. It's a people's process. So that's how it is.
Thank you very much.
But Lisa, I think her audio's got disrupted. So yes, Felicity, what is
Yeah.
tell us about your in terms of you trying to, of course, the school mediation circle, Australian school mediation circle is coming up that we're doing. But what has been your experience talking to people, trying to find those people with that mindset? How has it been?
It's an interesting process. I find that often people don't necessarily identify as a peacemaker or as a mediator or as a peace builder. They just do what they do, and it's a natural expression of their personality to bring those qualities to their relationships or their communities. And so the first hurdle, if you like, or perhaps not hurdle, but the first point of discussion is I'm finding, well, let's name that. Let's actually identify it. Let's acknowledge it and give it a name. And I'm finding that that's a very interesting people to have, a conversation to have with people, because often it is just part of who they are. And they haven't really looked at it as a specialized skill set or a gift or a talent or a personality trait, or however we want to describe what this component of their work is, or how they go about their relationships.
I call it the way of life. It's a way of life for them.
It's a way of life, and yeah, I find that's a very interesting conversation, because you come up against all sorts of things with people: their confidence, how they see themselves, their willingness to see themselves as something other than they think they already are, their willingness to be acknowledged for something that they find is a natural expression of who they are. It's a fascinating and wonderful conversation to have with people, and wonder if Mandy finds the same thing, or is it a bit different? Or
yes, Mandy, what do you think?
What I realize through my experience is that there is something that is important to work on, and it is to make a bridge between the things that are considered by the society to be very romantic and sensitive, and things like peace and dialogue and friendship and all this mindset. It has to pass the bridge to make people realize that these are not kind of weakness or kind of not powerful and not strong people. Because I think that what is very beautiful to communicate to people is that these ideas are not theoretical. It is just a decision that everybody can take when we have a conflict or any other difficult experience, that we have the choice and we have to decide which is the way we will manage that to not win the other person, but to win our power. And it is our self-confidence, our power is our peace inside our heart, and to help people realize that these ideas can be applied in life in an efficient way. So we earn peace, good feelings, time, and all these very valuable things that makes us strong and successful. I mean, we have to make our life and ourselves not to lose our powers and our strength in conflicts, to realize that beautiful things are empowering, and it is a matter of choice also, that we are not victims. We have the choice how to act and not to react.
Okay.
This is the mindset I believe we have to work on, and mediation not to be just the peaceful and civilization and all these things, but to be the clever, the beautiful way and the powerful choice.
Right. Yeah, good. That's nice. But Lisa is not going to put on a video. Just going to talk to us. Yes, Lisa. How are you? First of all,
Good morning. I'm all right. Morning.
haven't
Good
seen
evening.
you now that
Good
in
morning.
quotes. Haven't seen you for a long time, Lisa.
Oh my gosh. I wish mediation were the only thing I were involved in.
We also wish.
I still have to tend to my law children. So so I'm honestly excited with our mediation circle here being launched this week. So definitely in for that, and we'll make time for that. But I think I've seen some of the people here. I'm familiar with Mandy. I haven't met Felicity. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Nice to see a fellow African here, Romain. And I heard the other gentleman as well earlier when I joined in. So
Shivang.
it's a pleasure to meet all of you.
Yeah. No, the important thing is, Lisa, of course, you've got you're the law mom, so you have all these, your children. All of them should be creating these circles in their colleges. That is what we have to. Please call them for the launch.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you'll be very surprised that when you actually talk to these college students also, they'll tell you about their experiences. And I mean, there's one college in India where the guy says he's already helped one property dispute in the family. There was a matrimonial dispute. He's helped resolve those. He's in college right now. So they're all
Yeah.
there, they're all doing it. It's just never discussed. So we have to bring them out. And another thing that I've been telling people is that in terms of the multiplier effect, now if you're in a college, these people create a circle and they are going into their families and communities and taking this there. Imagine the kind of multiplier effect we'll have, because each of them is part of a family and a community, and from that community then people take it into their workplaces or into their families. So imagine that we can actually reach out to a lot of people, because that's the only way we'll be able to we'll be able to reach out, because this is one of those things. Like I said, this space is not created by people because it doesn't serve people's purpose. There's no vested interest
Yeah.
in creating these spaces. So that's why we'll have to get the right people in and find a way that they can actually earn out of it. And that's why these, even in college, if they actually have the mindset and they feel that, oh, everyone says, oh, I want to know more about mediation, I say, go out and practice it. Tell someone in your family, tell people in your community that you want to help
Yeah.
them. If they can't, you get Lisa in. Okay, Lisa comes in if they want more support in some way. They don't trust them because of their age. You're available to them. So that's how your marketing also happens. And we know that mediation is in the right hands that way also. What do you think, Lisa?
Yeah, no, I mediation will always be my first love. It's just that I if I had to split myself into three people or four people during the day, I would definitely do it on a daily basis. And of course, I mean, the climate here with our students and law graduates, unemployment is huge. So I've been trying to punt this as an easier way to get into not the profession, but to start working. And if you're passionate
Right.
about solving problems, so that would be the entry point, I think, from what I know, because we've got enough of them sitting at home doing nothing. Um, and I think obviously it's a lot for me to do, but it's encouraging to see some of my South African colleagues actually putting it out on LinkedIn now, offering their own offering their own training and whatnot. So hopefully we can all put ourselves together in different parts of the country, and because I think my primary thing now is also just to get them out of that mindset of you have to have a law degree to solve issues,
Yeah.
because that's how, like, our colleges have also lied to them here. So it's a real uphill. It's more like a vertical climb. But of course, I'm willing to push it just because I myself am a problem solver, and I see conflict not as something to run away from as I did in the past. And of course, we want people to be well and whole after they've solved their problems. So that passion still drives me, and I'm definitely willing to put my shoulder to the wheel with my other colleagues, of course, Tracy and some of the other ones,
Virash is
and
there.
really push it here. Yeah, Virash and Indrani.
Indrani,
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you what, Lisa, what the only thing is that, first of all, the confidence that we have to give them that, look, you don't need any special training, you don't need any qualification. If you have the mindset and people trust you, that's all that is required. And you learn on the, it's like learning on the job kind of thing. Your skill will develop. Go out,
Yeah.
practice it, your skill will develop by that. That's the way, only way the skill develops, by actually practicing it. So go out and
Yeah.
do it, and don't get, I mean, which is what you've heard me enough about this, the colonization of mediation. Oh, the qualified mediator. That person is the mediator, and the people who are actually doing it on the ground, they are lesser mortals. They're like savages. You don't know anything about mediation. We will tell you. So
40
we have to get
hours.
that out of the mind. Yeah, yeah. That's when you bring them in, I'll talk to them. Let's get them in and start them off. Imagine good people
Yeah, no,
sitting inside.
Yeah.
And imagine there is
I
work available.
think launching the circle, our own circle here now, is definitely going to put some fire under my feet. So, in terms of being accountable to the worldwide circle, because I certainly want to contribute there as well. So, I'm hopeful and willing to put my. If I had three shoulders, I'll put two of them to the wheel and put one in the law sector. So.
No, but this is connected to that. The law mom is
Yeah.
doing good things for the kids. He's giving them, first of all, an occupation. Let's not even call it a profession. Let's call it an occupation.
Yeah,
So you're giving
occupation.
them an occupation right now. It's not even they have to put anything in. They don't have to go for any training, nothing. All they have to do is reach out. But your support with them gives them that confidence within the community also. Look, if you want to meet a practicing mediator as such, I'll call Lisa in and she'll have a session with you and tell you about it. So they've got your support. So both ways it works. So you're involved in it, but you still are able to get so many people out there. That's what I want to put out. But Shivang had a question for you. But Lisa is just creating the circle. Shivang, that South Africa Mediation Circle is just being created. He wanted to know the full journey while creating Mediation Circle. You can ask Shivang, what about Mandy? Mandy, please tell him. Mandy started off that Greece Mediation Circle. That's the larger circle. Of course, schools and all this are still coming up. So something on your experience, Mandy, as to what really, if while creating the Greece Mediation Circle, what your thoughts?
I'm noticing at this period some experiences, and I'm trying to realize what would be useful to take out of these experiences. But what I'm thinking about and wondering is if it is enough to make people trust others to be able to get over a difficulty or a conflict. But sometimes I realize that what is necessary is to inspire people to find the trust and the power they carry and own, because it is this is the way I believe, this is why I believe that we as mediators are some kind of bridge or some kind of a person who's walking by another person to find a new lifestyle. But the important thing is to inspire people to find the power in them and the trust in themselves. Because I have experiences lately that they are very close to resolve problems, but the fear and the anger and this automacy that we have to react is not enough. When a mediator is there, if it is not enough, it is not. It is not that it is not. That's why it's very important to talk about the children so much and look in the children. And it has two meanings for me, not only the future, because you find pure souls that have inside the need to find the happiness and to be they have the romantic and sensitive self more aware. But not only, but children can inspire adults to realize that we all carry a child in ourselves, which when this child is full of fear and anger, that's the adult. And when it is free from fear and anger, it is the real self, which is the child we carry.
Yeah, but basically what Shivang wants to know about creating the circle. So basically what happened, Shivang, is that Mandy at least went, all these people who are practicing as mediators, got them together, and we of course started that launch and the gathering. So bringing them in, then out of that, different people would be working in different areas. So some were looking at developing the school mediation. So that then what happens is then you'll have a Greece school mediation circle. Similarly with Australia, first idea was to bring in those people who are practicing mediators, just to give that support, in a way, mentorship or whatever, to people who come into the circle, because being a grassroots movement, you're bringing out people who have the skill, but they don't even know anything about mediation. But on this other end, we also want those people who have been practicing maybe for 30 years as, I mean, on a full-time basis as mediators. So it's like bringing all of them together. So first thing was to bring in these people at the national level, at the global level, who have that. And then once we bring them out in different areas, but what I was wanting to do, Mandy, maybe is because they haven't seen these.
I'm sorry, you asked me about the experience we had in
creating
creating the
Yeah.
circle. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I
what I'll do
thought
is,
it
yeah,
was-
what I'll do is I'll just take them through the various circles which have been launched. So it's not just about national or school, it is more than that. So quickly, so you have the World Mediation Circle, which being the largest circle, all circles being part of it. I call it the World Wide Web of mediation circles. Then you have circles for every country. So you have the country. Then you have the World Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle. Then you have the Reflective Practice Circle, where all of us, in terms of our experiences, sharing knowledge, is going to happen for every circle there. Then you have the International Commercial Mediation Circle. Then the Sustainable Development Goals, to achieve them, mediation and mediators have a role to play. Then we have the World Refugee Mediation Circle. So all of them at the national level also will be created. So the World Refugee Mediation Circle is there. So there'll be one in Congo, in Australia, and Greece, and Bhutan also. I don't know Bhutan, where if there is a refugee situation. Then the Organizational Mediation Circle, every organization to have a mediator. Then the Family Mediation Circle, people who practice in this area, plus also our aim should be that every family should have a mediation circle. So that whole thing of identifying those people within the family also has to happen. That's how things grow at the grassroots level. This is a game that people can experience conflict resolution. Then you have school and college. Then you have the global environmental, climate change, natural disaster, sustainability. So similarly, at the local level, also down to a school can create one for people who are interested to work in that area. But you have a national one also. So we have a Bhutan climate change mediation circle. So like that. Then issue based. So this is one issue that I picked up. We'll have other issues that you can create a circle around. This is where that safe space to bring in all points of view comes in, without activism, advocacy, or debates. So it's a dialogue. It's in some cases consensus building. Then country-wise, then you have country-wise. So this is a college. So you have the web. So the college, part of the Global College Mediation Circle, part of the India Mediation Circle, part of the World Mediation Circle. That's how the web works. Artificial intelligence. Why not let people use artificial intelligence as their mediator if they don't find one? So I mean, of course, this to be how much more development is required, how that can develop. We'll talk about that. So I'm briefly taking you through that. So then there are country-wise circles, various countries. So this is a community where I live in. So community one. So that. So Greece, this is what I mean. Mandy started. She put this together first. We'll show the other picture also with many more people who came into that. So similarly with others, it just grows. Kazakhstan was few people, then more people came in. Since Greece became that much, Mandy. That's how Greece. This is the experience that Shevang wanted you to share. How did you get there? Getting people in. So this is that college. Yeah.
Yes.
I just take you through various kinds of circles. Okay, that's all country-wise. Beyond that, it's all countries. Issue. Okay, yeah. So this is one of the goals of the Sustainable Development Goals, which is gender equality. So we have a global gender equality mediation circle. So each goal will have a mediation circle. And then we have Mexico, Zambia. Zambia also, these people are working on climate change. All of them come from that kind of a group. Benin, Brazil, Romania. Okay, so Ecuador also. I mean, how it grew from. They're slowly growing. I mean, okay. So I think I'll put it off here. New Zealand. So Kazakhstan, okay, grows a little. Today we had a conference in this Kazakhstan where I told them about my thought on this. I'm sure I shook them up because they come from that whole formal structure, and this is what's happening on 30th. So yes, so Leonie is also here. First we have to say hi to Leonie. She's here. We have to.
Yeah.
Hi, Leonie. Want to say hi to everyone?
Hi, everyone. I was trying to join before and I couldn't find the Zoom link, but I found it now.
Okay, so basically up till now, Zoom link will remain the same for the various events which will happen. But this one was the World Mediation Circle gathering. So the Australia one, obviously we have the Australia one after this, but please meet everyone. Leonie, Shivang, Romain. Okay, I put the countries around. The countries are with them. Felicity, you already know. Mandy is in Greece. So Shivang, Romain, you want to say hi to Leonie, please?
Hi.
We were just going through. I was just telling them about the basics. I've taken you people through that basic presentation on the World Mediation Circle. And a lot of people, I'm sure, have heard it a little too many times from me. So, but what to do? They had to go. Look, people don't go through the website. They don't have time. So this, in a way, I forced them to go through the website. I forced them to see the various circles which have been launched. So that's the broad idea. So Mandy, I think Shivang, are you going to answer the thing differently now of your experience of the Greece one, what you did, what was the feedback, what did people have to say? Yeah.
I had something to share about my experience in these communities you have created. I realized that it is the experience I had through the creation of Greece Mediation Circle is one part. The contact I have with mediators and peacemakers from all over the world on specific topics that are created is another experience to me. And of course, all this participation in beautiful symposiums that we exchange and put light in many specific sides of mediation is also another experience to me. So I realized through Greece Mediation Circle, I realized that we here in Greece as the Greek community, we all had the need and we were willing to empower ourselves by connecting to each other in the sense that we belong in a bigger global community, to see out of the box of the Greek law box the things and the Greek reality, and to realize what is the real purpose and the important thing to do. So we spread, and that's what we all realized, that even the personal professional interest is connected to the spread of the idea and to spread of the mindset. So this is something that is very beautiful as experience. Already we have 3 meetings until now, and everybody wants and has the need to be again and again there to share the difficulties and to find solutions and to also to overcome the difficulties of the reality of the Greek reality, the difficulties we have with law, with lawyers, with court. And this global community is giving a space to Greece to exist over the reality, the difficulties of the reality. It is very empowering and very inspiring. When I participate in specific topics, I feel also empowered by the global experience, and this feeling that we have this reflection and this sharing with what happens all over the world, and also getting deeper in some issues like the environment or the family issues, all these things, is also very empowering, and we can bring the local reality that we live to put it to upgrade it in an upper level, and then bring it back. And it is very helpful to change our own mindset first of all, because we also are part of the reality, and sometimes we have to take light from somewhere, so we bring the ideas on the land. So it is to be specialized from the global community and to connect in a global space, even if it's about our country, I believe it is keeping the hope and the idea in the upper level, because reality is sometimes so difficult that there are thoughts that make us worrying if what we do is realistic. I mean, realistic is always something that comes as a problem when we try to do beautiful and sensitive things. And this is very, very beautiful with the participation in these global communities.
But let me tell you now that the World Mediators Conference normally starts on the 18th of May on Ken's birthday. But he's traveling, it's some kind of in spaces where he won't have internet connectivity. But that World Mediators Conference,
the knowledge we get,
we have to. No, what I'm saying is that the next one has to happen. So let me tell everyone that basically how it happens is that I'll send out a schedule. You on some particular date, you can tell me that this topic is what I want to discuss. I'll put that in the schedule and people can come in and participate in that discussion. That's how the World Mediators Conference happens. So now only thing is when normally I would start it on the 18th of May, but I'm thinking I might be able to do it before that also. So I'll send the schedule out. Please look out for that. And whatever topic you want to discuss, like Felicity has not participated, and Leonie also, of course, hasn't. So the idea is going to be that any kind of topic that you think you want to discuss, we can put it out there. So I'll send the schedule.
But what I wanted to say is that the beautiful thing in these circles, the international and topic circles that you create, is that we have great teachers, but we are all equally teachers and students in this sharing. This is great, great experience.
And now Felicity will give us some idea of her experiences in relation to creating it, because she's the one who's really taking it to Australia and talking to people. So Felicity, what has your experience been, and that when you started talking to people about it, what was?
Yes, I find that it's been a great start to begin with other mediators, and often mediators are lawyers as well. So it's been a great way to start the conversation, and it's been a great way to empower those who wish to join the circle to be speaking to their own contacts and their own connections and their own communities as well. So I have found that to be a great start. I am looking for ways to communicate the idea to people who are not professionally in a mediator role. So just finding their groups and their places where I'm welcome to introduce this idea. And I'm finding that I'm having to really work on my clarity of articulating what it is that the circle is offering, because that's always what people want. There's the value of it, and why am I meeting after hours with a bunch of people is a great question that needs a good answer so that people can engage with it wholeheartedly. So I'm finding that answer often changes depending on who you're speaking with also, and what their value proposition is in participating in a group such as this. And I have found tonight incredibly helpful, and it is just a matter of keeping on, I think, and communicating and improving the communication of it, finding new ways to communicate and new groups. And it's a great message. And I think that if we can bring together like-minded people who are working in their local communities, often on their own, as we've said tonight, what a wonderful opportunity to bring them into a space where they are acknowledged and where together we're supported and we're journeying together, where it is just a safe space for conversation, where we don't need to worry about the debate or the advocacy or the activism. And when we remove those elements to discussion, you're left with just a conversation. And that's where real work happens, and that's where change happens, and that's where we really begin to hear each other, when we remove debate and activism and advocacy, and what we are needing in our world today, locally and globally, are spaces where we can genuinely hear one another. And this is a great forum where that might be possible, and is being realized in many cases already in many circles. So that's something that inspires me, and something that I try to communicate to my communities, and as we try to bring people in. And it's new in Australia. Do you know, we've only been, I think tonight will be the third gathering, is that right?
Yeah.
So it's new this year, and we're actually about to start at 7 o'clock, so I might have to jump off and jump onto that circle now. But that's my thoughts at the moment as to where we're at.
No, I think what Mandy just said about how, in terms of her experience in participating in the events and learning from each other, I think you can tell people about that. That little clip by itself is good enough, because she's participated in earlier events and then creating the circle, what the advantages that they saw, because people from Greece coming together. But we also have to say hi to Peter. But Mandy wanted to leave. So Mandy, you wanted to leave? You want to say bye to everyone?
Yes, I would like to. I'm sorry, unfortunately, I have to go. I hope I will be back at the evening meeting.
Yeah.
I wanted just to say that it's not just hope, because in my experience in the Greece Mediation Circle, the biggest personalities of my countries and my teachers were so willing to come together, all together under their personalities for mediation, which is the space that is created by the Vikram's circles and all these social he has created. So this is reality, that people who really love mediation and peace are under these ideas and for these ideas, and this happens in these circles. In my country, it is a reality, and this opportunity we had to create the circle and all together, to come together and serve the idea and mediation, is a reality. So if it can happen in this way, it can happen in a global way, and it is very, very beautiful idea and very huge work is going on here, and I'm very happy. Thank you so much, Vikram, for all this experience and all this meaning in our lives.
No, thank you for coming in, and of course we'll see you maybe later in the evening. Everyone's invited for that. That's at what, at 3 p.m. GMT. Okay, so thanks. We'll see you.
Thank you.
And
bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
So
Bye, Mandy.
we're going to say hi to Peter. Peter, we haven't said hi to. Hi, Peter. You want to say hi to everyone,
Hi.
Peter? Yeah.
Hi, yeah, I wanted to unmute first. Hi, yeah, I'm in Australia. I'm a mediator or family mediator. Been a mediator for about 20 years or a bit more than 20 years now. So,
But the thing was, we had a gathering of the World Mediation Circle, which was going on. So you have Shivang from Bhutan, Romain is there, he's in Congo, and Lisa's here. Lisa, we finally seen her now. She was hiding from us all this while. So we were just discussing, because we've gone through whatever we have discussed earlier. I was just telling them because Shivang and Romain had not come in for earlier sessions, so I was just telling them about that. Lisa's participated in lots of my events. Easy ways for people to find anyone is to just go to mediatorvikram.com YouTube channel. Just search the name, you'll find some events or something. So that has to happen. Lisa, that World Mediators Conference, we have to please think of more topics for this one. Yep. So yes. So anything, Shivang, Romain, anything you want to just, any comments, anything?
So no comments from my side. So I'll keep on reading and visiting your webpage, and moreover looking at your videos. And I hope the colleagues here representing their own country or as a thing, I think we have to seek their support and for further deliberation and discussion.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Vikram, and hope to see you later. And bye-bye to all.
Bye. Thank you. But this step by step is what you're saying. Step by step, we have to create them. So yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Romain is, of course, in the middle of the night right now. Must have got late for you, Romain, now.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm not really what I would like to say. This is a great experience because since I've been doing mediation, this is the first time that I'm coming. It's a great place where a lot of mediators are sharing experiences. So I enjoy the place, and I will be coming back all the time that I am invited.
But now we have to create the Congo Mediation Circle, Romain, and the Bhutan one. We have to create those circles, and then further circles we'll start creating those. So
yes, I will.
But we have to say hi to Helen because we haven't seen her for a long time. Hi, Helen. Helen, how are you? One lip reading can happen, but we'll prefer to hear you also.
Sorry, how are you? Thank you for sending me the link. I couldn't get on.
But
I am on though.
Yes, you're on, and now do you have time for the World Mediation Circle now? Are you less busy now?
Oh yes, I'm back in my home state, and my dad is being taken care of by somebody else. So yes, good. I'm off duty for the time being.
Perfect. So the World Mediation Circle, yes.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Little introductions can happen. Helen, you please tell them about yourself.
Oh goodness. I'm a Kungarican woman. I live on Kungarican country, and I work in peace building and peacemaking, and I particularly work with First Nations groups across Australia, particularly in the Northern Territory. I try to do advocacy for those peacemakers and peace builders as well as supporting communities in building their own methods and training manuals for their own people in their own languages. What else do I do? And I work with the University of Newcastle and the University of Melbourne in building a profile about First Nations methodologies. And we just released our first publication into that research, which is very exciting. I don't know what else to tell you, but
No, but that's very important work, Helen. That's very important work.
I love doing what I do. Yeah.
Oh, but that's very important work, and we have to create the Australia Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle also. That also has to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's very important. It hasn't happened yet, not even in Australia.
Yeah. So we have to do that. Yep.
We have to urge our governments to pay more attention to these methodologies because some of them are very, very ancient.
Yeah. So what we're doing is that we're letting the government do their work. I'm sure they're doing good work. We'll do our work, disconnected from all that, so that we don't get into bureaucratic hurdles and things like that. We'll can create a circle, all that wealth of knowledge that you have, what you put out in that publication. What we have to do is everyone should benefit from that. I'll put a link here of the latest publication that you've done. I'll put the link here.
Yes.
So that's important work that needs to go out. But do you know everyone else? Helen, Felicity, do you know Helen? Felicity is the one who's really coordinating the Australia Mediation Circle.
Oh, lovely. Hello, Felicity.
Hello, Helen. Hello. I was just thinking we need to get you in touch with, oh, goodness me. We had Peter from your peer group.
Oh, the National Mediation Standard Board?
Yes. No. We had the FDRP who's travelling remotely around Western Australia at the moment, who joined us for the last Australian gathering. Peter, that came from your face group page.
Was that Tracy Wheat? Tracy
Thank
Wheat?
you. Yes, Tracy. I was thinking we'll need to put Tracy and Helen together.
Yeah, she's based in Headland or Port Headland.
Port Headland.
And she's been a mediator for a long, long time too. So
what I've done
she's
is
First Nations.
Yeah.
She's First Nations.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
And she's traveling. She's traveling so that she can reach remote communities throughout Western Australia. Or at the moment, as Peter's saying, she's in Port Hedland. But
what I've done is in the chat, I've put that link to what the Helen's research that she's brought out. That's an important piece of work.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes, please send it to her.
So
and give her my details if they're available.
And we have to say hi to Josephine also. Hi, Josephine.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
No issue.
Hello, Josephine.
Zoom link you don't have to worry about for some time. The Zoom link will remain the same.
Okay.
Up till the point it doesn't go into the wrong people's hands, that Zoom link, then we'll change it. Up till then it will remain the same.
As you can see, I belong to the dinosaur age, so I'm not that very tech savvy.
You're telling me? You're telling me?
Anyway, I'm in, so I'm here.
Yes, but
Hi,
it does.
everyone.
Now, main thing is that does everyone know everyone? That's the starting point. And if people want to, you missed out on Helen's introduction. Peter, you met last time. Peter was there. Leonie was there. Felicity obviously is the one coordinating it. Lisa, Romain, and Shevang were here because the World Mediation Circle gathering was happening, which you people were also supposed to come for. I think the invitation was sent out. So the last Wednesday of the month at 6 p.m. Canberra time, we have the World Mediation Circle, and of course we have the Australia one on the last Wednesday also. Last Wednesday or the fourth Wednesday? Felicity, what does it happen?
Australia is the fourth Wednesday.
Fourth Wednesday.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to put my video on pause because it's playing up on my screen.
Yeah, because of that.
Yes, I'm still here though. I can still hear you.
So Greg is also here. So last time what we did was we had what we call the launch of the Australia Reflective Practice Circle. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Vikram.
Again, now, Greg, I mean, you know everyone who was part of the Australia one. Lisa, Shivang, and Romain are there from South Africa, Congo, and Bhutan, because we had the World Mediation Circle gathering before that. And Helen is here. She's also from in Australia.
I know Helen, yeah.
Yeah, she's hiding from us for the time being.
Oh, hi, Greg. How are you?
Good, Helen. How you going?
Very well, thanks.
So what we did was we did a little soft launch of the Australia Reflective Practice Circle. So Greg had some thoughts on how that should go ahead also. Greg, you want to please tell everyone how we should take forward the Reflective Practice Circle?
I just thought it should emerge out of the bigger group, because I think it's one of those things that I think once the group gets going, I think people within the group will say, look, I want to be a bit more specific about reflective practice as opposed to other areas. So I might feel let it emerge once we get the Australian group going, and certainly we can break into areas such as the Indigenous area and so on. But I think it's good to start with the big group, so we broaden it out as far as we can.
Yeah, but that's the only thing, that little balancing aspect of it, because sometimes what may happen is, because if a larger group comes in, but because there's a more general discussion, are people wanting to be part of a general discussion, or are they looking at specific areas that they work on and bringing people together in that area? So we'll have to work with both of them at the same time. So like Helen was here, I was telling her that Australia Indigenous Peoples Mediation Circle has to be launched. So maybe that also should happen at the same time. I put that message out, but everyone who comes in is also part of the larger Australia Mediation Circle. So both of them keep growing at the same time. That's the thought I had. What does that sound like, Greg?
Could I just put my hand up? I don't know where it is.
No, it's okay. You can just say whatever. It's an informal thing. Please.
I think it could prove difficult because remote Australian communities don't necessarily have access to internet services or the equipment and infrastructure that can manage that. And I'm not suggesting they don't know how to use these things. I'm suggesting that there are very, very limited resources available for communities to join, although it may motivate some changes by creating this opportunity for First Nations to join in. So we never know.
How would you suggest how should we go about it?
My suggestion, well, I was talking about government before. Government provides the resources to First Nations, and if they're so restrictive, they need to not be restrictive. They need to be accessible services that every other Australian receives and can expect, and therefore that would be a branch of equity and self-determination, that they choose to have those things available to them, and they can let or be involved in designing the very things they require in their communities to help support them. That's about procedural fairness or free, prior and informed consent. So that's my opinion. It doesn't mean to say it's a correct one. I'm just putting it out there.
But Helen, the people who are working with Indigenous peoples, if they who are already going out there and meeting them and they carry their equipment with them, can we use that to reach out and get them into whatever gatherings? Is that possible?
Oh gosh, you've got to come to Australia to be really true. I mean, Greg, I don't want to leave it to me. Greg or any other Australian, please feel free to add to this discussion about remote Australia.
Yeah, Helen, can I ask, and forgive my ignorance with this, but can I ask what is the actual reach of broadband? Like how how regional does it go, actually? Like, is it?
Oh, there is a reach of broadband. I'm talking about the infrastructure to.
Yes, but is there actually if there? Yeah, sorry, but if there was actually computers, right? Yeah.
Not necessarily, but I'm not saying that it doesn't exist in the majority of cases. It's just that if you live in the homelands, which is even more remote than the remote, you're not going to have internet access. You might have cell data. Satellite, yeah, you might have satellite, but it doesn't necessarily suggest you do have satellite. So it's really a little bit of hit and miss in remote Australia, because there's communities that are 800 kilometres from the nearest major centre. So, and nothing in between, no service stations or petrol stations or general stores. It's really, you have to go on the journey to actually appreciate why First Nations health and housing and homelessness and all of these statistics the gaps aren't closing, and there's a reason for it, but people don't know because they don't go there. The general population, they don't go to these locations to see for themselves what exists and what's not available. So I hope I'm being helpful, but I don't want to just suggest that everything's all gloom and doom. What I'm saying is access to reasonable sets of services and infrastructure is not consistently replicated across remote Australia. Yeah, that's probably the best way I can put it. Yeah.
Basically, what we have to do is at least the people whom we can access, let's at least bring that, because like I said, this is what you have created, what the research that you've done by itself is important. At least that gets circulated, and other people who really want to, I mean, be part of that discussion and have whatever they want to bring in, at least that little space gets created for people who are working in that area. I just want those spaces to be created. It's like those seeds which I feel to be planted. So at least someone who at least has you, if they're working in that area, they have you to be part of that activity, learning from your experiences, things like that. So that's why I just wanted to create those little communities also.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's entirely plausible in rural Australia, not so much so in remote Australia. It's a very big continent with vast distances between townships, especially from the Northern Territory to South Australia and from Western Australia to New South Wales or Queensland. There's this really huge gulf of remoteness. So, and not high density populations. So, of course, all the infrastructure is not going to be put in there because the populations are low, but that doesn't mean to suggest that it's correct or, it's fair or equitable. I'm just saying that's the reality.
But we'll hope that
Greg?
maybe Greg is coming. But I just wanted to say hi to Yolanda. Yolanda, you want to say hi to everyone? So, like I said, this was the World Mediation Circle gathering also. It's all everything happening together. So the Australia one is also happening, but this will also happen. So Yolanda, you want to say hi to everyone?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Vikram. I'm so sorry that I missed the meeting earlier today. Unfortunately, I ended up in hospital, which is why my camera is off. But I'll listen.
What happened? What happened, Yolanda? Everything all right? I mean, nothing serious, I hope.
Just usual stuff. Yeah, I'm okay.
You're okay.
Well,
okay.
I'll be okay.
Okay. So everyone has their good wishes for you, I'm sure. But if they want
Thank
to say it also, I'm sure they want to say it also. So please.
Thank you, Vikram.
Yeah. So take rest. So that's one part. So Lisa's also. Lisa, do you know Yolanda? Okay. You'll get to know her at the South Africa Mediation Circle launch. Yes. So now that is one, of course, the indigenous peoples is one, but I mean, Felicity, this is what we have to decide. One is what, like Greg said, let the larger circle be created, and then we'll have these sub things happening. What do you think? You've spoken to people. What is your feeling? What do we need to do to get?
I do agree with Greg. I think that if things can grow out of the larger circle, there's more assurance that it will grow as people connect in and understand what it is that the circles are trying to achieve. I think that will be an organic outcome. At the same time, you know, when we see that we have a group of people that can create a circle, that of course can be encouraged. And we do have Helen, and we have Tracy, and we have Greg, and others who are already working within our First Nations communities. That, you know, if a circle was able to be created, then that would be a very wonderful outcome.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is, if they're working in that area, at least that little community, which a lot of people are doing that work, sometimes don't connect with each other also. So at least that connection happens, and they're doing a lot of work which doesn't get highlighted, maybe gets, I mean, it's all there. I'm just saying, like, I just saw what Helen did. It's a resource which is something that should go out around the world. I mean, that work that they've done. So that's the kind of sharing of knowledge that will happen, which is what that's why I felt those communities coming together. It's something should happen. But what about the next stage of reaching out to people and getting those people who have that mindset, bringing them into the circle for those gatherings? When is that going to happen? The one beyond the mediation world, mediation beyond.
Where do we find them? And, you know, I think we're all, we all have to be working our, well, not working. I don't love that word in this context, but, you know, looking to our connections in our communities and seeking them out and bringing them along. That's an onus for all of us as we reveal the value of being in a circle and the community that we're creating, is inviting our friends, colleagues, and neighbours into this circle to experience this also. And that's for all of us to do. For sure. And, you know, we've got the schools coming up, and had a very interesting conversation last week, I think, with Greg and Vikram about what Finland are doing in schools, and just the most incredible work there, supported, of course, we think, by their curriculum, which does help. But, you know, there's a lot of inspiration around if we look for it, I think.
Well, I'll imagine, like, Josephine is going to be launching the Philippines Mediation Circle, and the person she's going to do it with, she's working. I don't know whether you've heard about, Josephine, that MedNet that they're doing that work in Philippines.
Yes.
They're doing really interesting work there. I mean, a lot of people are doing interesting work with communities. They're working with communities, so that's interesting work. So idea is to let's just bring out all those people who are doing all this good work around. Let's just get them in and everyone to hear their experiences. So a little bit beyond the mediation world as we know it, beyond that, all that good work that is happening, we should be able to highlight that. So but you think there's a challenge in reaching out to people and getting those people who have the mindset but are still not in the formal structure? Is there some challenges? Are there any challenges there?
I agree to what.
I think there's some.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Helen. Go
ahead.
Josephine.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. No. I agree that there are some communities that would be able to join. It's just a matter of couching what it might mean for them, and supporting them to attend via Zoom, and to not feel not silenced, but to be encouraged to speak, because sometimes there's a lot of listening and then quietness. It's hard for me to explain, not shyness, but a reluctance to share an opinion until they're fully right to do so. but when I'm talking about remote localities, I am actually meaning remote, would be very challenged by that. And in organising that, and then having the infrastructure and the, someone who's going to support them to have contact and join. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity for First Nations to meet other First Nations.
Yes.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to have Asia Pacific relationship building with First Nations groups. There's a number of features of the having these circles of peace building that are in sharing what we do and how we do it, and encouraging others to just join a movement of peace builders, as opposed to other forms of community engagement. This is more about supporting people in the work that they're doing, enabling people to express themselves and what they do, and being able to share the challenges that they experience. So I think it's really, really useful. I'll just put myself back on mute now.
Oh, that's okay. Josephine was saying something. Yes, Josephine.
Just following up on what Peter Hansen and Greg Rooney said, as well as Helen, we're coming from a large group, like, for example, the Philippine Institute of Arbitrators. I did not feel that belongingness because I'm passionate about mediation. And the MedNet, yes, but they're very much into sustainability, not the actual like transformative, reflective, evaluative. It's the civil mediations. They're more on the sustainable one, where it involves farmers and things like that. So it's like what Greg and Peter was saying. From a big group, we can actually filter some mediators that would like to belong and interact with, like us, where we're searching to learn, searching to share. A lot of possibilities to contribute to each other.
For me, when people who are not in that formal structure, when they also come in, and then that larger group gets made, that'll be something that I feel will be useful also, and a lot of learning for people, because there are certain things sometimes, even there's a theoretical world which gets created, but here there's a world which is only practical. There is no theory, so there are extremes in that. So the idea is that all of them should merge together and learn from each other, so that, at least for me, the learning for people who have the skill is that they are doing practically what the theoretical world is talking about. So something like that. Yeah. So, but Lisa, before you leave, please say bye to everyone.
Hey everyone. I have another appearance to make to completely shift gears and talk about deceased estates on Instagram. So I have to love and leave all of you. It was a pleasure meeting you. Most of you for the first time. Some I know from LinkedIn. But I'll see you later, hopefully, in the second gathering. So thank you, everyone, and see you later. Bye.
Thank you for joining us, Lisa. We'll see you later then.
Thank you. Bye, Lisa.
But Peter, what area of practice or what circle would you like to create? Is there any particular?
I'm a family mediator. So in Australia, that's called a family dispute resolution practitioner. So at the moment, I run a Facebook group that is reflective practice for family dispute resolution practitioners. And there's about 140 members in it at the moment, but it works as a Facebook group, not as a circle. So, and I'm envisaging your circles as regular meetings, whether they be online or in person. So
Yeah, online. So I think what the idea of that Australia Reflective Practice Circle was that let just people come together, and be it called a Reflective Practice Circle or just the Australia Mediation Circle coming in together, but at least discussing their experiences or learning from each other. So we can do that. You can call your whatever people that you have in your Facebook group, and we can at least, because the thing is, there's a lot of people who would learn from that. I mean, they can just be just listening in, but at least there is some learning happening there. It doesn't have to be recorded, doesn't have to go on YouTube. I mean, that's okay. That part of it you can always, I mean, decide. The important thing is that at least though that knowledge that you people have, that experience that you have, should be something that people can benefit from on a large number. I mean, whoever wants to come in, we should let them come in and just listen if they just have to. So that's the kind of space that I felt that Reflective Practice Circle would be.
Yeah,
that's
the Facebook group is solely practitioners, so I'm thinking that maybe the circle is something that should grow out of the Facebook group collective more than within the group. Yeah.
Because what we've done, Peter, before is we've posted the Australian meeting on that Facebook group, and then those that wanted to come through from that had the opportunity to do so. So that kind of worked, didn't it? Like it keeps your Facebook group in the way that you've created it, but then just gives arms, if you like, out to other opportunities as well. Is that something that works for you?
Yeah, I also run that a second Facebook group that is it's called Family Law Conflict Resolution, and it's for separated couples that are involved in the family law process. And what I try to do in that group is talk about mediation first, litigation last, and try to push that theme as well. The group has got, I'm the admin for it, but it's got about 8 group experts that are all family dispute resolution practitioners. And some of those family practitioners are also lawyers as well, but they're very much focused on trying to steer people towards mediation and away from the court process. And occasionally I get a lawyer in the group that's trying to promote themselves, but they don't last long in the group. So I'm trying to promote mediation in that way in that group, but maybe running the circles there or running that concept more in that bigger group. And that group's got just coming up 9,000 members in that group of separated parents. So
wow. How long have you been running that, Peter?
Since about 2001, 2021, I think, December 2021. So, wow. Yeah. But the growth in the group has been, I think the growth is something like 6,000 or 7,000 in the last 12 months. So, yeah. So in the last 12 months, it's taken off, and that's in the time since I've been in private practice. I've gotten serious about it and pushed it harder.
Peter, it's interesting to hear you say that you're endeavouring to steer people towards mediation, because from the perspective of being both a lawyer and an FDRP, mediation is basically mandatory. So all lawyers should be steering their clients towards mediation anyway, not just in relation to parenting matters, but also in relation to property.
I agree 100%. But what seems to be happening, and it's not just lawyers doing it. A lot of people see mediation as a hurdle to get over to get to court.
Yeah, they want the certificate.
Yeah.
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 And there's a lot of parents that just want to have their day in court and for the judge to pat them on the head and tell them that they're the good parent and point the finger at the other parent that is a bad parent.
Good luck after the 6th of May.
Yeah, well, good luck as it is now to like.
Yeah.
But what's happening is that you also get lawyers. You know, the mediator sends a separated parent off, get some legal advice before you come to mediation. Okay, I want you to have a reality check of what would happen if you went to court. Okay, and have that reality check that no, you're not going to get sole custody or you're not going to get 50-50, right? Get that reality check happening. And when you do a catch up with them before you start the mediation, you ask them, so what was your lawyer's advice? And too often they say, oh, my lawyer told me to come back when I've got my certificate.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't adhere to that. As you know, I'm both. And
but you have to tell us about the 6th of May. What's happening on the 6th of May?
Some changes to the family law legislation that is setting aside the presumption of equal shared parental responsibility and the almost automatic concept going with that parents should have equal time with their children. So it's going to be, or the idea is to craft decisions much with a greater emphasis on the genuine best interest of the child, not what I regard as being the convenience of the parents. You know, I think often they say, oh, this is in the best interest of little Johnny. But if you actually take a look at what a particular parent is suggesting, they're suggesting something that absolutely fits in with their timeframes and their schedules and ensures that little Johnny has no contact or nearly no contact with the other parent. And that suits them down to the ground. But it's not in the children's best interest.
Yeah.
Important, yeah. But this is why we need separate mediation circles, Greg, because the family mediation circle, the things that they would want to discuss, I think maybe it's good to have a space for them specifically. What do you think, Greg? Don't you think that's...
Look, I think diversity. I mean, I think that's the best thing, because I think everyone in each area has similar problems, but it's good to watch it from a distance. So I mean, to get into the circle, if you're all in the same issue, I think that would work. But what it really would be for someone outside that circle to listen in. So I think, I mean, at this early stage when there's only a small group, I think it's best to let's hear from each other on what we do and learn from that, and that will attract more people in. Because I think, you know, I'm fascinated by people working outside my area, because I think the problems are the same. So I think it's about emergence. Let it come. It will come. And if there's enough people who want to then split off and do that, that's great.
Yeah, and we have the technology with us. We can always create breakout rooms. And now the family mediation circle has gone into this room. You want to go there, you can go there. So I think that's what's going to happen maybe. We'll have one large Australia mediation circle, and then you can have these breakout rooms happening. That sounds all right, Felicity? Does it?
Yeah, because the other thing to consider as well, and I'm not too sure how this works practically, is how many circles can you be a part of? You know, there may be a number of circles that you'd like to be a part of, but all of a sudden, 2 nights of every week, you're involved in a circle. And I wonder at people's availability to achieve that. Whereas if we can come out of the one group and perhaps look at breakout rooms, it's the one time, and we get some time together where we do have those opportunities to hear from everyone, and the diversity is fabulous. But then if we want to go off, like I could get totally sucked in, right? I'm an FDRP as well, and so I could get totally sucked into that conversation right now about all the changes and May the 6th, and I'm deeply interested in it, but I'm also deeply interested in everything else. And so to remove myself from those conversations, I would lose something in that at this point when we are such a small group. And you know, I'm interested to hear more. Josephine, I know that you are on the, am I right? You're on the phones. You're mediating on the phone. And is that's for an organisation?
I work for Community Justice Centre since 1984. Even way back in 1984, we have telephone assisted mediation, which we call TAM. It's because at that time, there was no Relationship Australia. So we do parenting plans, and most of them have moved to the other state just to spite or to heal or many things. So telephone mediation still exists, even civil claims. I'd be interested to hear from Romain as well how it is in Congo. I've learned today reading some posts from Mian, who established ADR in Pakistan, where they're only since 2017 that they have court annex mediation. So yeah, Felicity, our work involves a lot of court mandated mandatory mediation, because magistrate has just New South Wales has over 467,000 cases per year. And they try to squeeze in 150 cases per day. So as much as they can, they would try to say, yep, go to mediation. Go to mediation. Yeah. They would do that. That's the bulk of my work.
And so do you do all disputes? Like, is it family and civil? Is it general mediation, or is it specific?
Small claims, neighbor dispute, parenting, except when there's violence. However, even with that violence, there's still the parenting issues. Then there's the parent alienation. There's still the property settlement. So we work on and focus on specific things where it's mediatable, and steer away or park things such as domestic violence, which is non-negotiable or cannot be mediated.
I think Helen wanted to leave, so she just wants to say bye to us. Yes, Helen, please.
Hang on a minute. Sorry. Look, I think just touching on all these circles and adding to Josephine's discussion there, and Felicity, is there are many circles, and I've got to say that First Nations will be affected by things like removal, that's family and children's services, court annex mediation in family services or so forth, domestic violence, and their matters that aren't the horrific violence of I've worked in domestic violence with the courts in working with parties to iron out an agreement where someone's not going to breach their domestic violence restraint order, for instance, or the restraint order that inhibits them from going and visiting someone, or it's not the violence one. Well, it is violence, but it's not the physical violence. In matters concerning eviction, and so I know First Nation criminal justice contact is the huge one that even CJC's Department of Justices around Australia are not using or propagating compassionate or therapeutic jurisprudence in their courtrooms.
Yes.
They're not working in like it's for everybody, not in particular for First Nations, but it's relative to First Nations. Restorative justice and circle sentencing, those sorts of pathways that keep the community involved with a court that works, because it's a court that works with a community of interested and supportive partners to enable, say, a young person to move beyond the offence they've committed, to have the opportunity to come back and redress themselves and to develop themselves, because our children aren't born criminals. They thrive, criminals thrive in poverty, in overcrowded housing conditions, in unemployment, poor health, so on. And so the statistics speak for themselves. So I know First Nations, if they joined, they'd want to be part of everybody's picture, because it does. These are things that vitally impact on First Nations right across their lives. And with that, I just thought I'd say I would join lots of different groups, but I doubt I'd be able to do 4 or 5 groups a week. I wouldn't be getting much done. But I can see the benefits of these types of ways of supporting each other, but not existing, or we don't thrive in a vacuum. We thrive when we're learning from each other and we're hearing from each other of our experiences. So with that, I'd like to thank you all. I do need to go, and I hope to join you at our next session. But
we'll fix the time.
Thank you very much.
Fourth Wednesday of the month. 7 p.m.
Okay, and a note will come out. Yeah, it'll come out.
That's the larger Australia Mediation Circle, and then we'll have for specific ones, we'll fix the day for that. Reflective practice is going to happen also. So thank you, Helen, very much for joining us.
Okay. Thank you.
And
Bye,
we'll
everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Helen.
Bye.
Yolanda, you had your hand up. You wanted to say something?
Thanks, Vikram. I wanted to share with you guys. So in South Africa, we have compulsory, as soon as there's a minor child involved, in terms of the Children's Act, both the Children's Act and the Divorce Act, we have compulsory mediation, and that we've had for years, I think, since the 80s, and since 90s, sorry, and it's really worked it is working very well, because it's going through what we call the Family Advocates Office. And the moment there's a minor child involved, you can't go for private mediation. It has to be directed through the Family Advocates Office. And because it's the Family Advocates Office, which is part of justice, they can then help with getting a court date. But your matter will not be set down. You will not get a date unless there was active mediation. So you need to participate in the mediation as well. So that's been working really, really well. What we didn't anticipate in the last number of years, mediation in the criminal justice system has really taken off. So we've trained all our prosecutors, we've trained all our magistrates, and because we have such a huge number of cases not being heard, and everybody has the same problem with prisons are overpopulated, we've actually seen that in the criminal justice field, that mediation is working very well. And we thought that was going to be one where we were going to struggle.
Good work, great. Some thoughts, anything, Peter? No, nothing. No. He says no. Peter says no.
One of the problems, just in terms of a bigger circle and smaller circles, one of the problems that we do see in South Africa is that there's this sort of competition between, I'm a MIM mediator, I'm a ACDS mediator, so it doesn't go according to the fields that you're practicing in, but rather according to who you are affiliated with. And I mean, healthy competition is always good, but this is not what we're seeing. You know, one organization would put another down saying, oh, no, don't go train there. No, don't come, you know, rather go to this one, etc. Do you guys find a similar thing?
Well, first of all, I'll tell you that here what is going to happen is here it's going to be, please don't go and train. Please, your skill, you have a skill,
Yes.
go and practice
No,
it.
I get that.
That's
Yes,
what's
yes,
going to happen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but otherwise they have something to say.
Yeah. So that was just one example that I've used now. But for example, one of the other things would be, oh, they always overcharge you. Don't go to this organization. Or no, they're not proper. I'm putting it in inverted commas. They're not proper mediators. And then you know, there's the mediators who are lawyers like myself, who prefer mediation first. In the legal fraternity, we are not part of the legal fraternity. You know, it's a very much a us and them type of thing. Yeah.
There
and not
is,
coming from the mediator side.
yeah.
Yeah.
Back in prior to 2010, or in the lead up to 2010 in Australia, they were establishing the National Mediation Accreditation System. There are all these different mediation organisations. Josephine, you're a member of ADRA. I'm Resolution Institute, and there's 20 or 30 of these organisations, and they all sort of came under the umbrella of NMAS, National Mediation Accreditation Scheme. So fast forward 14 years, the NMAS scheme is going under a transformation and a whole new set of standards. But there are some of these lawyer organisations that are not at the moment are not liking the new standards, AMDRAS or whatever it's called. AMDRAS, yeah. And at the moment, there's sort of talk of a breakaway mediation accreditation organisation that would fracture along the lines of lawyers and non-lawyer mediators. So whether that fracture happens, it will be interesting. Yolanda, what you talked about, the lawyer mediators versus the non-lawyer mediators, we've got that I think that is to some extent, but if this fracture happens over the AMDRAS standards, it'll be a chasm, not a crack.
Yes.
So I think we're at a fork in the road at the moment. So with that,
I was on the Mediator Standards Board for a number of years as a director, and but I remember when it first came in, the accreditation scheme back around 2010, there was debate on how high do we set the standards for training and accreditation. And one of the arguments was that we needed the lawyers to be part of in the tent with everyone. So the answer was we had to lower the standards to get the lawyers in. They don't like that.
And that's what the argument is. And that's what the argument is this time.
Is this recorded? Is this going out live? Is this recorded?
Yeah,
Did you just say that as a recorded statement, Greg?
We had to lower the standards because there was a lot of people. I mean, one of the problems, the other end of the problem was that there are a number of groups that wanted really high standards, make it so difficult to get in. So it's so there was the two extremes. But in the end of the day, we wanted the lawyers in. Otherwise, we didn't want that break. And I think what's happened with the new standards is to say we are going to increase them, but we want you to be a mediator. And the lawyers originally, I mean, I was a lawyer in my youth, and when mediation came in the early 1990s, the lawyers said, what's this about? We don't like it, but we better join it so we don't lose our thing. So they jumped in, and for the first few years they were there watching, and then suddenly when mediation became more popular with the courts, they decided, no, we're doing it differently now. We're doing it the real way because we're experts. So it's been parallel thing going on. But you see, I think this is a natural part of the evolution of mediation, is that the legal profession have had centuries of dehumanizing conflict. You don't talk to each other. And they've tried to colonize mediation and say, we want it to be dehumanized, which is their way of doing it. And we don't want to be called mediators. We want to be called dispute resolvers. We resolve disputes, we don't. And this is what this is bringing up. Because if you have to be accredited as a mediator, they say, no, I'm accredited as a lawyer. I don't really need separate accreditation as a mediator because lawyers are mediators. But I think in a way, it's a reaction. It was bound to happen. We've got through about 15 or so years without it happening. If it does, I think it's just a natural progression because I think the world has moved. Nothing is going to court anymore. There are hardly any matters in court, and all the judges are retiring and becoming mediators. So it's happening out there, and I think the market in the end will tell that a retired judge that comes in and tells you what to do, they're getting bad reputation. So I just think this is a transitional stage, and I see it's it'll work itself out in the end. My sense.
But by that time, mediation gets a bad name. Mediation gets a bad name by that.
I find that very hopeful, Greg, that you'll find that it will all work out in the end. I think I would like potentially to rename that what lawyers do is negotiation. They do negotiation really well, but I wouldn't call it mediation. Whereas as a mediator, I do mediation well, not necessarily negotiation. And I think that's perhaps the words are different. They have a completely different meaning and intent and heart behind it. And I think I'd like to see that language evolve to really reflect, because as a mediator, I don't really want to negotiate. I want to mediate.
I think you've got that on. You've hit the nail on the head exactly there, Felicity. I think, as lawyers, we negotiate and we recommend things, and we will guide a client towards accepting, a particular proposal and be able to tell them exactly why. Whereas with the mediation, you're not negotiating. The participants, it's a totally different, and when I did the FDRP thing, the majority of the people doing the course at the same time, and I've got to say, I did it through College of Law, the majority of them were lawyers. And going from that one skill set to the other skill set was the hardest part about it. Not sort of looking at the scenario or getting involved in the scenario and thinking, right, I know how to fix this, or I know what the outcome's going to be, or what would be the great outcome for it, but actually sitting back and using the other skill set, using the mediation skill set, not the negotiation skill set.
Leonie, at the moment of the FDRPs in Australia, 63% are lawyers. So, and that's grown hugely over the last 10 years. I think 10 years, I'm guessing that 10 years ago or 12 years ago when I became an FDRP, my guess is that it was something like 20% or something like that then, but now the statistic is 63%. A large percentage, about 26 or 28%, are community service, social worker, psychologist background, and there's a small, I think 4 or 5% come from a variety of other backgrounds. So, and I agree.
And you can pick when you've got a family law matter with somebody, with another lawyer who's not who's not a mediator, who's not an FTRP, it can be like pulling teeth to get somewhere, because they don't vary from the negotiation pathway at all. And it's very difficult sometimes to see how they are, in a parenting matter, say, putting the children first, as distinct from what their client tells them is the outcome that the client wants, because they're not going to allow the child to go and do X, Y, Z because their ex would really like that to happen. So of course that's not going to happen.
Yeah, in those senses, the lawyer is advocating for their client, not for the child. So
they're advocating for their own bank balance, if you ask me.
They're doing
I didn't say you, Vikram. You probably have to unrecord that.
I think, negotiation can often result in a predetermined best outcome that you can sit down and look at academically and rationally and say, this is the best outcome, and this is where we should go, and this is what's going to benefit everyone on paper. And that can be negotiated. But when you want to try and mediate, particularly with the new laws that are coming in on May 6th, where we're to craft unique situations for each family, that sort of approach is just simply not going to be as successful. And it shouldn't be, because a family unit is not a piece of paper with a best case scenario. It's a living, breathing entity that changes every day. And we need to reflect that in our decision making. And it's a very interesting thing. And I have a story that I would like to share, which aware that I'm being recorded. So
at any point of time, the recording can stop. We can go.
I mean, look, we're probably.
Vikram, you just lock that recording away in a safe and forget about it. Okay,
it's all out there on YouTube right now, and it's going to stay there forever. That's what the situation is. If you want me, I can always go offline. You want me to do that? I can always do that. If anyone is not comfortable with it being on YouTube, please tell me. Anyone? Anything?
Well, my story. I'm going to tell you my story, because Yolanda. It is mandatory, as Leonie said earlier, that our families go to mediation if there are children involved. And I'm aware of a family in my community who, because our narrative is not, oh, I need a mediator, it's, oh, I'm getting a divorce, I need the best lawyer out there, they find a lawyer that's, going to get them their outcome. And this mother that I was speaking with, when I said to her, did you go to mediation? Now, the fact is, she had to have got her 60R certificate to go to court. She's had to go through a process that obviously was a tick and flick situation, because she had never heard of mediation, didn't know that she'd been through the process, didn't know that her family had been deemed unfit, and wasn't going to be told by her lawyer, because at the end of the day, they don't earn money in mediation. They don't. That's the hard facts. And we've still got people trying to make partner by 30, and they've gone to law school to be litigators, not mediators. And there's an issue with how we train our people. That's how that is. But they go to court. Now, he charges $80,000 for this first round for the judge to throw out the parenting plan because it was deemed inappropriate and unacceptable. Now, you cannot tell me that lawyer did not know that. We all know how to draft an arrangement that is considered appropriate. So the fact that this suggestion was thrown out, and, but we can do it again, we can have it another round, it'll cost you another $80,000. That's, when that's the stories that you hear, it's it's a broken system that needs advocacy from the top down. You know, we need our judges, we need our Mediator Standards Board. There needs to be a promotional campaign that changes our social narrative from, if you're getting a divorce, go and get a, you know, hard-nosed lawyer, to, hey, the law actually says, if you're getting a divorce, let's start at mediation, particularly if you have a family. And until that support is given, we're always fighting for the work. We're always trying to promote to get the work, because people on the street are still not aware that what they need is a mediator to begin with, as well as a lawyer, but that they're two completely different services. And, you know, that's the challenge that we have. And for this poor mother, they decided not to go for the second round. And the young children, they were given the responsibility of making their own decisions about which parent they were going to organise it themselves, which of course we would say is inappropriate, because we would say to our to the UN Convention that we follow the right to the child, that it is inappropriate for a minor to be making those decisions. And you know, but that's what they were left with, and that's a very disappointing situation. And I think those of us who work in this field all have stories that are similar to that.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one that I have been trying to get to mediation, and spoke to the solicitor on the other side when they came back to a proposal that I'd put to them in relation to mediation, and said that they had asked their client for an amount of money that nearly had me fall off my chair just to go to mediation. And it was something like about 8 times what the mediation would have cost.
It was.
And they wanted that money paid up front. You know, and then they say, can't be done. And I've actually made the suggestion to my client that maybe you need to just go to mediation and not take lawyers with you.
Yeah.
You know, because I can't see another way of moving that matter forward.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what is to create co-parenting improvement so that these parents can co-parent. Well, they can't do that with a lawyer sitting in the room. And at some point they've got to learn how to co-parent. And that's the task of mediation too, isn't it? Is to provide that. So they can go back to their lawyers for their advice. Don't sign any paperwork until you've seen your lawyer. Obviously, that is an essential part of the process if they so choose. Voluntary in Australia. But, you know, if they so choose, that's there. But to insist that they're in the mediation room is not empowering them to be the best versions of themselves going forward in that family's life.
It's not empowering them at all if you're asking for that much money up front. You know, how it's, to me, it was bordering on what I would call scandalous. Like using that in the true sense of the term, that
it was putting a roadblock. It was putting a roadblock in front of them, a roadblock to get to mediation. Yeah,
it's an insurmountable roadblock.
Yeah,
you know, for those people, you know, you're going through this. You need a lawyer. You need somebody who's hard-nosed and what have you. But that's not serving your client. It's not doing. I don't see that as fulfilling your duty as a lawyer to assist your client to get to the other end of the road in a reasonable time frame and as inexpensively and efficiently as possible.
And that's the overarching purpose in family law at the moment, according to Central Practice Direction. But last week I spoke to a client that he ran out of money before he got to trial. He'd spent $300,000 and tried to self-represent in trial because he had no money left.
Can I have some of those clients, please?
Like, I spoke to his ex on the phone today about mediation. So
What's so upsetting about this is that in order to pay that, the average Australian, in order to pay that, has to sell their greatest asset, which is their family home, which then creates another whole level of uncertainty for that family going forward. Like, the whole thing is so unethical. It makes me very cranky. But Greg, I was going to put this to you. I was going to put this question to you. Wouldn't if a rule was put in place that your mediator and your lawyer had to be different, had to be from different organisations, wouldn't that circumvent some of these problems that we're having, like with my story where the client didn't even know they'd been through a mediation process because it was a tick flick, let's just get them to court. If they actually had to go to a mediator that was different, in a different firm to the lawyer, wouldn't that address some of these issues?
I think, Felicity, what's happening is that this law firm has a panel of mediators, and and they've got a mediator from the law firm down on the corner, another one from the other side of the street, and another one from up on the other corner. And all those other three law firms, have a reciprocal arrangement of a lawyer mediator. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's your panel of three mediators. Pick one.
Yes, and I'm aware. Yeah. Okay.
And that's
because once you've done a mediation, you can't act as a lawyer for any of the participants.
Yeah.
No, but it is often within the same firm. It's just different offices. But yes, it's probably also.
I wouldn't have thought that was permissible.
Greg wants to come in. Yes, Greg.
Yes, Greg.
I think there's a historical problem. When the Family Law Act came in, it was designed to be very fluid, very actually a very simple process. But the trouble is the government that brought it in got sacked, and the opposition came in and didn't know what to do. So they went back. I was going out with a young lady from the family court into the old system, and when the new one came in on the first day, they said, what are we going to do? No one's told us, because the guy that designed it was out of office. So they said, we'll just keep doing what we normally did. And that's how it started. I think the answer is the problem is the family court itself. I was involved as there was a workers' compensation court, which they abolished in New South Wales and replaced it with a tribunal. And it was going to be all on the papers, no sworn statements. You could have 20 limited pages, but as an arbitrator, you could just give weight. I don't agree with it or not, and it was just submissions, and it was mediation first. So I would be mediating on the phone. If it didn't settle, I'd set it down for 3 hours in Sydney. The two lawyers would talk, and I would help mediate it. If it didn't, I'd put the tape on and make a decision. And most of it settled. I did. Over 8 years, I did 1,200 cases, and I only had to write 87 decisions. And the thing about that is they were looking at that as a way of doing the family court, and the lawyers blocked it. And the idea would be that there would be no sworn statements. You could write whatever you want, irrelevant or not irrelevant, except for property. You'd have to have a sworn statement on that. It would be done on the papers. You could make some submissions, and you'd have experts come in, and only lawyers that were trained to be only certain lawyers could do this work, and the experts, there were a small panel of experts that you could go to, and I would think in this situation you'd have only accredited mediators doing it, so it was out of the hands of the lawyers. And the idea, you would change it from the family court to be a families tribunal. And what they said in the workers' comp was that I wasn't a judge. I wasn't doing a judicial. I was doing an administrative role, because there was only certain funds in the pool, and I was administrating them. And my argument would be there's only a certain number of children, and there's only a certain number of property. And what you would do as a tribunal would be to say, if you as parents can't divide your property and your children, we will do it for you. And it will be done with people who are experienced, trauma-informed, and it would be the lawyers, there'd be only certain lawyers involved, and they'd be capped at their fee. So it'd be more like the European judges, where they're actually more public servants. So you get away from it becomes a tribunal, and because the trouble with the court is that a judge says you're a bad person, you don't get the children, as opposed to a tribunal member saying, look, if you can't resolve this, we'll divide the children. We'll say, if you can't do it, we'll do it. We'll make an administrative decision because you can't make it. And it moves away from the bad parent, who's right and who's wrong, cross-examination and all that. So in a way, I think the court system sets this up, and it requires expert lawyers at high fees to fight out who's the good and the baddie, as opposed to let's just talk at an administration level. Now, they were looking at seriously abolishing it. But the problem is the lawyers are so entrenched in governments, they'd say, oh, this is terrible. We need to have judges to make right decisions, as opposed to saying, look, this is a terrible situation. How can we make it better with the minimum of cost and the safety? So I think the whole problem comes back to the court itself, and that's where everything feeds from that.
All this heavy stuff, we need something that Peter wants us to see. We need something with some lighter stuff also has to happen at the same time. Yes, Peter, is it okay we share it with everyone?
I love this one.
But now the next part of it, where are we bringing people out there who have that mindset into the circle? When is that going to happen? How are you people going to do that? Please, that is my focus area. Please reach out to
we're all
everybody.
here to share with each other.
We need it. Please. Just a WhatsApp message. I'm okay with that. Please send it out. Next gathering, we should have people from outside the mediation world.
Yeah.
Romain,
have you found this interesting at all?
We'll send you to another breakout room.
I think it's word of mouth. If you get enjoyment out of this, you'll say to someone, look, why don't you come and watch? That's all you got to do. It's one person. Look, just come in next time, sit down, see what you think. And that's how it evolves. You know, and word of mouth spreads.
Yeah.
So please invite people. Yeah. Yeah, Yolanda.
Yeah. We'll continue to do so. Thanks, Vikram. So just to rewind a little bit and to add to what Greg said. Greg, it's great seeing you. I think the last time I saw you was in 2018 in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. So just to add to that, I spoke about the Family Advocate's Office earlier, and that is the exact same role as administrator, is the exact same role that the Family Advocate's Office play. So if the both parties don't actively, and that is the difference, just that one word is the difference in commercial mediation in the court rules versus family law mediation in the court rules. So the commercial rules say mediation, participation in mediation, and the family law rules say active participation in mediation. Because it became this tick box exercise of we've gone to mediation, but they come there and they really just there to derail the process. So the Family Advocate's Office then has the final say, and they make a recommendation to the court to say, yes, we endorse this parenting plan, which in 99.5% of cases, the courts accept. Versus the Family Advocate's Office say, well, sorry, you didn't actively participate. So either you go back to mediation, alternatively, we will decide what that parenting plan will look like. So exactly what, Greg, what you were describing now, the role of the tribunal was. And that really helped in family law mediations. In commercial matters, we had two judges who were really flying the mediation kite very high. Have you guys heard of the Brownlee matter? Divorce Brownlee versus Brownlee? So same thing, and the court actually, the judge gave a cost order against the attorney because the attorney advised the client not to participate actively in the mediation. And the judge said that had the matter been mediated at that stage, the cost would have been a fraction of what the litigation was at the end of the day. So we had Judge Traverso and Judge Schlope, and they really used, now the last couple of years, they've been using that judgment in the high courts in commercial matters to say that, yes, we don't have the word actively participate written into the rules. However, we have the case law that if you don't advise your client properly, that we will then give that court order, that cost order against you personally. And that was what brought the lawyers on board in commercial matters.
They're all very dangerous things, Yolanda. Too much interference, whether you were actively involved with it. In Singapore, they've gone to the extent of saying that the way that the conduct in the mediation was such which showed that you were not really interested in it, or whatever. Vague kinds of things are coming out from that. I'm just saying, just keep them away from it. Keep judges and the courts away from mediation and let it develop separately. That was the way mediation has to develop. But okay, maybe there is too much that's already happened in all these years that getting it out now maybe not the easiest. But at least the way I'm trying to do it is that let people experience it outside and find their people outside, and maybe some culture develops there. That's the way I look at it, because it gets absurd. I mean, the kinds of orders that you see, it's absurd after absurd and more absurd. So it's a big issue.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go, Vikram, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you for coming, Greg. We'll fix up.
Bye, Greg.
Before you go, Greg, Felicity has to tell us what is the next thing. Is something happening on the Reflective Practice Circle, or are we doing only the Australia one?
I think we'll definitely do the 4th Wednesday of the month at 7 for the Australian. Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else, then we'll let everyone know later. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I think so. I think we're trying to do schools, I think, on the 8th of May.
We are doing it.
We are doing the
Greg,
schools
8th of May. 8th of May, but that is at 5 p.m. Canberra time.
It is indeed 5 p.m. Canberra time, the 8th of May, schools and colleges. So please feel free to join us and bring people in to that as well. Other than that, we have the 4th Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Canberra time. On this Zoom link, it will be the same.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, Greg. See you.
Bye, Greg.
Bye, Greg.
Thank you.
Romain, I hope you've enjoyed our evening with us.
Yeah, I did really enjoy it with you guys, and I love that conversation about lawyers and non-lawyers in mediation, especially in Congo, where it's very difficult to see the courts telling someone that you need to start by the mediation. They will love everyone to go to the court so they get money. Yeah, I'm talking especially about corruption. They want the money to come to them, so they will not let people to go to the mediator so they can solve the problem. It just like you said, it's a paper matter, not a living matter, as we should do about family. They just want to bring them to the court, and then right now the president just said that the court system is sick from the president himself. So there is no reason for people to go to the courts first instead of starting from the mediation. That's why I'm trying to help people to understand that they have their own choice to try to resolve problem between themselves before to get lawyer involved. I had the case of a well-known family in my country. They came to the mediation with lawyers. So I just asked them, I found out that the lawyers were very different. The point of view of lawyers were hard to bring the family together. then I asked the family members if when they will have a death in the family, do they believe that I will be there and the lawyer will be with them together, or they will first gather themselves before everybody else comes to join them? From that question, I just wanted to say, okay, what I need is, I know that you have lawyers, but I want you guys as a family members to get together and think about how you want to solve this problem before you get lawyers involved in the case. So what happened, they came with a solution which was good for themselves, but they just said, okay, we have a property that we're going to sell, but we want the money to come here, because the last time that we sold the property, it was very hard for us to get what we deserve. So we want the money to come here to you, and then everyone will come and get his part. I said, okay, that's fine. Then when they went out, the lawyer made them change the position. So they came back with a different position the next day. We started over. So it's very hard, because lawyer, there's always, like the picture that it show us, it's a matter of money. That's why sometimes they say, oh, we don't want that mediation. It's not going to help. We don't have anything to win with mediation. Let's do the court system. So.
Well, yeah, but the important thing is that, first of all, are we on the same page on what is mediation? I think that by itself, we have to have a full discussion on that. Maybe not today, but separately, because mediation means different things to people, and everyone says we're doing mediation, we're promoting mediation. But I think we need to, at least, I mean, it's not that everyone is going to be on the same page with it, but people who are looking at mediation the way I'm looking at it, and I'm sure all of you are, should be put out there. Because sometimes I don't call these processes which come through the court as mediation at all. I'm terming them as settlement conferences. If there's any other better terminology, please use that. But for me, that there are settlement conferences, and the way they go about it in the court system and things like that, it's not been very good for mediation at all. So I think we have to be very careful to use that word for everything that happens where someone is assisting you in resolving a dispute. Yes, Peter. Peter was saying something.
I've put a link in the chat, and it was a presentation done by Chief Justice Stephen Thackeray of the Western Australia Family Court a few years ago, and it would have been good if Helen Bishop, was it Helen?
Helen.
Yeah, from NT. If she watched it, they ran a family court ran a project in very remote Western Australia where they held court with no paperwork. Right, people just came along with their issues, and the court sorted it out for them.
Thank you, Rod, and good morning, everybody.
Sorry, I just opened it. Sorry, I was just not losing the link.
Yeah, it's a 27-minute long video presentation, and it was to me, it's how mediation and the family court should work. And it's well worth watching it. So Leonie, you should watch it too, I think. So because
I'm just writing the link down now, because I just nearly did what Felicity did.
Sorry.
No, but what she did is because she was on the speaker, so we could hear her. But if you're on the headphone, it doesn't matter.
No, my AirPods
come across on mine.
Yeah.
My AirPods are back on charge.
Okay.
So basically now that next step of what I want you people to do, if that happens, I'll be happy at the next gathering.
Yeah.
If we can.
Leonie, I think I've got your email address, so I'll flick it to you in an email.
Beautiful. That'll save me.
I think I've
trying
got your
to. Yeah, you do.
Yeah. So.
Perfect. So anyway, the same. Okay, the World Mediation Circle gathering also is going on at 8:30 India time, which will be very late for you people, I think. Yes, it's 8:30 p.m. World Mediation Circle gathering. There was one gathering today at 1:30 India time, which was 6 o'clock Canberra time, and there's one at 8:30 p.m.
Are you doing that regionally?
No, this is the World Mediation Circle. So of course, people from certain parts of the world can only attend the one in the afternoon. That's why I kept that there. Otherwise, it's open to everyone to come in. 8:30 India time is what for you, Felicity?
What was that? The 7
What,
o'clock time?
8:30. What is the time right now?
It's 8:30.
So okay, so it's all 1 o'clock in the morning for you, I think. Yeah. Well, that's the only thing. So that's why this whole thing of keeping 2 of those sessions.
At the moment, it's only 8:30.
Yeah, but we have another 4.5 hours to go.
When does it start?
8:30 India time, which is
right. Yes. Yes.
So, but everyone's most welcome if you want to come in. Romain is also in the middle of the night right now, where he's traveling. Romain, what is the time where you are right now?
It's 6:32 from the US.
Yeah. So he's been
in the
with
morning.
us. Yeah.
In the morning, yeah, right.
So this is because I mean he wanted to attend this. Otherwise, you could have also joined the later one also, the World Mediation Circle one. Please.
I will.
Great. So okay, so the 4th Wednesday we are meeting, and before that, School Mediation Circle is 8th May, Australia one. So please, if you people want to join that, and reflective practice, right now we are saying we're not having it separately. Felicity, is that what the idea is? We're going to have only the Australia one, and then from there.
Yeah, let's do another Australian one, and I think from there let's talk about how we might work in.
Maybe going into breakout rooms or something.
Yeah, maybe to start with. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So any final thoughts, Leonie? Anything? Any suggestions? Any comments? Anything?
No, I'm just really pleased that I was able to come in tonight and join everybody. I think it's been a really interesting discussion tonight.
Yeah, good. I think that's a good thing. As long as some productive discussions happen, I think that's nice. Anything, Peter? Any comments?
No, I've enjoyed this evening. It's been good. Yeah,
great.
It's been good.
Yeah.
Romain, any thoughts? Any comments? Anything?
No, it was very nice. I like it. Thank you very much.
And Yolanda is still there. Yolanda, are you there? Any thoughts, comments, suggestions, anything?
I am. Just echoing the same sentiments. It was lovely meeting all of you, and it was really great. Vikram, always learning from you and always learning from the other participants, the delegates. So much, much appreciated.
Yeah, as long as it's going to be dearest Vikram, I'm very happy. That was the one that made my day.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. So, okay. Anyway, you're joining us later at the 8:31. Whoever wants to, please join us there. Right? And Felicity, you have the last word.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening, and our guests from South Africa and USA, Congo as well. Thank you very much. And to our Australian participants, thank you. And I'll see you next month.
Great.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you very
much. Good night, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.